Hello, and welcome to Knights of the Night Actual Play Podcast. This 5th edition D&D adventure, The Heretic, was written and run by your DM, Scott. And now, please enjoy episode 491, titled Cooing to Her Pretties. Actual play begins immediately.
Hello everyone, this is Scott, your DM for this 5e adventure, The Heretic. With me tonight, starting on my right, is...
I'm Tom. I'm playing Alder Arusha, a human cleric of Amira, and a skill-seeking rogue.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm playing Marduk, a male half-orc fighter, graduate of the Academy, and an eldritch knight of the Fist of Amira.
I am Jim playing Grodor, a hobgoblin warlock and one of the city-hopping Fists of Amira, searching for truth, knowledge, and the fastest way to the next city.
I'm John playing Melody, a female human cleric, the third of the exemplar family Harmony. I'm an ex-ambassador turned political operative in the Fist of Amira.
I'm Thomas. I'll be playing Gabrielle DeAngelis. She's a female human paladin and a holy Fist of Amira who's unknowingly taken the first steps towards her destined oath of conduct.
All right, where we left off last time we played was... Go ahead, everyone, roll for initiative. But this really is a surprise round because you haven't been detected yet. So we're going to go ahead and play the surprise round in initiative order, and then we'll start with initiative next turn once you're discovered.
All right, Grodor got a 20.
Natural? No, 19, but still impressive.
Yeah.
Marduk with a 17.
Alder with a 17 as well.
Gabrielle rolled an 11.
Melody rolled a 6.
How long does invisibility last, Grodor?
I think a minute, or until
Until you spoil it with an attack
until you
of some
spoil
sort?
it or something.
Okay. I don't have any ranged weapons whatsoever, but I can offer a really nasty surprise when one of them tries to swoop us if you give me invisibility.
It looks like Grodor and I can use some ranged magic attacks to maybe open up a volley. We have a pretty good range.
Yeah, I don't want you to waste your turn on it. You were just asking if anyone could use it before we start the combat, and I thought it might be a good idea. I can save my surprise for when one of the enemies swoops us by being invisible.
Excellent. Grodor, you're going to start because you had the highest initiative. This is, again, not an initiative turn. This is a free surprise round.
I think my action is going to be to turn Mel invisible.
Gabrielle,
I'm sorry.
But no, if you want to open up a volley, you guys should open up a volley. You get a surprise attack, it's highly worth it.
Do that first and then hit.
Well, that's a good question.
I don't have a target right now.
No, you can
except
hit
for the
me
good
with
guys.
invisibility at any time during the combat when you don't have a shot, and it will still be helpful. So save it for later. Get your shot off.
As far as I know, there's nothing I can see to shoot, right?
There's soldiers, and you cannot yet see the Harpy in question because she's on the board, but she's hidden behind foliage.
So I'm making Gabrielle invisible.
Thank you.
Okay. And that spell lasts until Gabrielle attacks or casts a spell herself. Just for our listeners who may be
The
not
thing
aware
to
of
remember is that these guardsmen are under the influence of the Harpy, so
And they're trying to free something.
attack to wound or to...
knock unconscious.
Basically, I'm saying, don't kill unless we have no other choice. Harpies we should focus and try to hit as hard as we can against them, but just remember that these men or these guardsmen may be victims too. If we can disarm them or if we can knock them out or incapacitate. Yeah. I know that when you attack, you can attack with lethal force or non-lethal force, and I'm not sure what but you get to decide.
You get to decide. If you bring them to 0, you get to decide whether you kill them or knock them unconscious, is how they changed it for this version of
Gotcha.
D&D.
That's basically what I'm saying, is that don't go for the kill shot, go for the non-lethal option.
Does anybody got a sound attack that could deafen all the guardsmen?
I have a spell that can be a thunder attack, but that's got to be a lot closer range.
These are things you guys discussed as you were running up. Rodor, you cast your spell with a flick of your wrist and a quick dash of eyelash into the wind. You make Gabrielle invisible. Do you do anything else on your turn, Rodor? You can move, or you can do one of your... I don't know if you have other actions you can do on your turn or not.
I don't know either.
Fair enough. If you don't know, then you probably don't have them.
I'm thinking that we heard the noise over where these guys are working and over on the other side of the pass, so I was going to go the south side and with what movement I got, maybe work my way up a little bit, stealthily, quietly as I can.
Okay, the movements are double moves onto those stones. If you're just trying to climb on top of the stones, you're fine. But if you're trying to climb, I'm going to need you to make a climbing check, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. You're just trying to get a better view off maybe climbing up one stone that might be 3 or 4 foot off the ground, or are you trying to actually get some height?
I'm trying to actually get some height on this side of the cliff.
Okay, each one of those squares that have a rock in them is double movement. So you could move 5 feet pretty much before you get to the rocks, and then the next 5 feet onto the rocks. Let's go ahead and make a climbing check, please.
I have a crappy athletics. I rolled an 8.
Okay, so move yourself back to the first rock that you approached. You are able to get up that rock, but you're not able to get any farther. And so you're about 5 foot off the ground, and you can go ahead and make a perception check at this point.
I made a 9 perception.
You haven't picked up where the voice is coming from as of yet. So you're more focused on climbing and trying to not fall and hurt yourself. That takes us to Marduk at 17.
Okay, Marduk will bring out his spear. Am I able to channel my Eldritch Knight powers through the spear? Or does that matter? I mean, it's just...
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
That sounds great.
So I will ignite the light of the spear, hopefully draw the attention, and I will open fire with a firebolt at... I only can see the people in the pass directly east of me, correct? I can't see the Harpy.
Yes, you could see, well, you can make a perception check because you're at a point now with your angle, you can actually see her.
Oh, okay.
But you need to make the check to know exactly where to look. You're looking on the rocks, you're looking in the air, you're looking all over the place, and you need to see where that actually takes place.
All right. And I rolled a natural 1, so I'm clearly only aware of anything. Am I aware of anything? Only probably the immediate threat.
I forgot to mention the Harpy's natural camouflage, which is well adept to hiding within the mountains.
I may be deaf as well as blind now. Who knows?
You do not pick her up. You do pick up the guardsman directly in front of you, about 30 feet in front of you, who's taking other rocks that have fallen down and taking them and pushing them off to the side and getting ready, it looks like, to climb up and help. You also see the captain of the guard, who is in front of you,
cape.
about 35 feet in front of you.
Right, he had the red cape?
Yeah, the one in the red cape. And then I'm going to say the other rocks block the view of the other guardsmen who are also in the pathway.
Are any of these men fighting against each other, or are they all laboring on
They all
these
seem
rocks?
to be laboring.
Okay. Then, as I moved up, I will then throw my spear at the captain. Holy cow.
Nice toss.
That is a 22.
That is a
Unfortunately,
hit.
it's not a critical hit, though.
Your glowing spear just gleams through the air and strikes right in the middle of his shoulder as he's facing you, kind of at an angle where his left shoulder is facing towards you. And how much damage did you do?
6 piercing.
It doesn't stick, but it grazes him and then clatters off into a distance.
And as my bonus action, I return it to my hand.
So you do. It wounded him, but he looks like a veteran who has seen action. So it's not something, it didn't affect him overly much to do 6 damage.
Right.
But he definitely felt it. And he turns towards you with somewhat glazed eyes and
Just wanted to attract your attention.
pulls out his longsword. Well, he'll do that on his turn. It's not his turn.
Right.
It was a surprise round. So actually you should have had advantage on that attack. My bad.
Well, that was a pretty good attack, but
It was, but you
always
could
be
always roll
better.
a natural 20. Wow.
Oh, just a 21.
Just a 21, but not a natural 20.
No.
Okay. So you hit him. He bleeds. You get your spear back.
Right.
Remember,
And that
everybody's
takes
got
us-
advantage.
Everyone has advantage if they're attacking, correct. Alder, you're up.
I am going to move a few feet into this passage, maybe about 15 feet closer, but also diagonal, so I'm against the north wall.
Yes, there is a pretty sheer wall there. You're still to the west of the cave-in. And what do you do?
I am going to use thaumaturgy, which is going to be a boost to my voice, which is going to last a minute. And so I just shout out as loud as possible, and it's 3 times normal volume, that you need to stop, except I do a stop, and I raise my voice, lower my voice. I'm trying to go through a range that may interfere with the charming of this. I don't know if that's possible, but I am figuring it's something like performance, where I'm using my voice to break up the control. If it's at all possible, I don't know. But I'm trying to block anything that this harpy may try on us, and also sever anything that she's already tried. So my performance is a 19.
Okay.
I'm assuming I get advantage because you said, so I rolled 2 dice, an 18 and a 19.
Yeah, it's okay. It's good to have advantage. Just surprise round.
And I'm fluctuating my voice at different levels throughout, and that's what the performance is, to hit as far of a range as I can, hoping that some particular note will interfere with the connection to these gentlemen, these guards.
Right.
But I have no idea if they get a roll for that, or if we hopefully will not be mind controlled as well.
Gotcha. They don't seem to be affected immediately off the bat, but it's just been 6 seconds, so it's hard to tell for sure. Gabrielle.
All right, Gabrielle's going to dash to the southeast and skirt along the rocks to keep up with Grodor. Don't have enough movement to get on top of one of the rocks, and I don't want to fail to climb and fall over like a fool.
Join the club.
Oh, wait. Is athletics based on strength?
Athletics is based on strength.
All right, then I'm much better at that than Grodor is, and I'm going to try. So there we go. A 5.
It's a roll low day.
Sure is. So she tries to vault using her pole hammer to land atop the rock, and it does not land with a solid footing. Skirts.
That rock is wet. Don't climb that rock. I tried.
You can't tell exactly what happened unless you can see through your own visibility, but you hear the scrape of a pole hammer not landing squarely upon the ground and a fumbled fall and crash.
Actually, you failed the roll. It's only a 10 to climb up those rocks.
Yeah.
So you failed by 5 or more. So you actually end up prone in the square that you're in currently.
I don't want to be prone. I need to keep people alive, and I don't have enough movement to make up for that or enough fancy tricks. So I'm going to spend the inspiration I do have and try and roll this athletics again. See what happens.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, you don't see too many inspirations for athletics checks, but this is one that I think it makes a difference. So you rolled a
total of 14, which means
much better.
Her pole hammer lands soundly, and she manages to vault atop one of the taller rocks, putting her another 5 feet to the east, and therefore atop one of the tallest rocks.
Right. Now, the rocks do rise 80 feet above you
right.
To the south. Of the rocks that have fallen, this is a relatively tall one. It's about 4 foot high. So you're standing upon it, although you're invisible, so no one can see you standing upon it. You can make a perception check if you would like.
I would like. I want to know what I can see. I rolled a total of 13, which is pretty outstanding for someone with such a low wisdom.
It is, and you actually can see the brood mother Harpy.
I see. That's the taller variety, the larger than average one with the more...
This is not a standard Harpy. No, this is something much more larger and much more fierce than a standard Harpy. You see her walking down south into the east where the hole is being dug out by the 2 soul guard that are pulling rocks away from that cave entrance. She seems to be looking in that direction and cooing, and then you see her head snap around when a blazing spear shatters the sky. And
I shout to stop.
And she is now noticing the fact that there are other people in this area. But it won't be until her next turn that she can actually respond. So that is what you see. Is there anything else that you can do, Gabrielle? I think you have...
I have some bonus actions, but they're all spells, so they would ruin my safety and surprise. So I will save them.
All right. That leads us to Melody at 6.
This is the brood mother, right? Singing to the boys on the rocks.
Oh,
yes. Which no one knows about except for Gabrielle.
That's completely fair, but I should tell people because I don't think it'll ruin my invisibility trick. On the center ridge on the north, between the two large trees, is the Harpy beast. Larger than I'd thought, and so its voice was probably more powerful.
I'm gonna join my friend here, Marduk.
Okay. So you march forward.
Mm-hmm. Is the angle too much to get a shot off at this Harpy?
Well, I'm going to say you can see her because of the great job of explaining by Gabrielle. I don't think the angle is too tough. She's about 80 feet in the air and about 40 feet distance. But when you do math, I think it's about 80 total.
I take a knee to steady the bolt and loose a crossbow bolt at the broodmother, hopefully staggering her song so that these people gain some of their independence back.
Now, I will say, I didn't say she's singing. She's talking.
Yeah. It just lasts, I guess.
So whatever she did maybe either lasts or maybe she redid it or whatever the case might be. She's not currently singing. She's cooing to her, whatever she said, her pretties that she's trying to rescue.
Okay.
So what's the range of your crossbow?
It is, I think, 80-ish before it becomes disadvantage. Light crossbow is 80 to 320. Just kind of on the outward edge of where it can hit without
we'll
disadvantage.
We'll go ahead and just say it's you have advantage for the roll. Go ahead. You still have advantage because she's not fully aware of you guys. She's just picking up on the fact that you're there.
And I have rolled a 17 to hit.
Okay. Nice. That is a hit.
Okay. As a bonus action, I bless this bolt. Marduk is really close. He can hear a muttered prayer to one of the horse lords of the roving wilds. Make this bolt fly true. And there is a glow to the bolt, and she looses it. I am spending some magic points to make this bonus dice. I should probably do that before I fire, just in the future.
Yeah, that's fine, but I get where you're coming from.
It doesn't end up doing the crossbow damage, it does the spell damage.
That's what's supposed to happen?
Yes. I spent 2 points. A die 10 is 7, a die 10 is 10, so 17 total.
17 total.
Suddenly magical sniper.
Yeah, your crossbow bolt finds its home. It strikes her just above her right breast, her chest area, and it sinks in deep. She howls in pain and stops cooing to whoever it is that she's cooing to. She looks at you with vengeance in her eyes. Even from this distance, you can tell there's hatred.
Do you have any movement left, Melody?
A little bit.
If you have 5 feet and you step back, you can get in my protective bubble.
Okay.
So, Gabrielle shouts, "You pissed her off. Take a step back."
Do you take a step back, Mel?
I'm trying. Okay, that worked.
That is Melody's turn. It's 6. That takes us to the soldier who led you here, who's nameless at this point because no one asked his name, and he didn't offer it. He runs forward 30 feet down the south way, down the path, then continues to run, doing a double move until he comes to the back of his compatriot, who is just getting ready to start climbing the rock slide. He's not screaming, but he's saying something to him, and he's grabbing him. He doesn't have his weapon out right now, or he has his weapon out in one hand, but he's not using it. He's shaking him and trying to get him to become aware. And that's the end of the turn in general. That takes us to the brood mother, who has a initiative of 21 and is now aware of your presence. At least some of you. Is there a reason there's a yellow circle on the map?
That is the radiance of the spear.
Ah, I see.
And I'm trying to be the beacon to draw her fire, so that's why I'm trying
to... You definitely shine.
Right.
Yes. The brood mother took off, again screeching and howling in pain, clasping with her talon towards her chest where she was shot. She makes a beeline to Melody, who is the one who...
immediately shrugs before getting piled on by a bird.
And with 2 talons outstretched, her lower talons of what would be her legs come like razor spears towards you. The first one, she rolled a natural 1. The damage from the attack was distracting for her. I mean, she's still, like, as she's hovering above you, she's still pulling at it with her wing and her claw, trying to dislodge it from her chest, which completely distracted her on her attack. Then she attacks a second time and rolls a 5 plus 6 is 11. I don't think that hits, does it?
Not on me, no.
We're not the only ones rolling low.
No, apparently not. So she hovers, then pushed back off and went back to the north into the rock slide about halfway up and landed. And she's hissing and spitting and just absolutely furious. You can't even understand her at this point, the way, the words she's using, and she just seems to be enraged. That takes us to Grodor at 20.
I was hoping she'd be still flying so I can maybe pick her out of the air, but she stopped. I think I'm going to give up climbing and just try to take a position basically where I am now.
Probably wise considering your athletics check.
Yeah, I'm good tucked in the rocks here, so I think I'm just going to stay here as long as I got a bead on her from where I'm at. You know what? Let's just hold her there. I'm going to try hold person on her.
Okay.
Wisdom saving throw, be paralyzed.
Let me check out her wisdom really quick.
I was going to try that while she was in flight, but
What is her DC that she needs to overcome? 12?
my spell save DC is 12.
Yeah.
8
Okay.
plus proficiency plus charisma.
So I'm rolling for her. She has a +2 on this roll. She rolls a 12. +2 is a 14. You go ahead and you toss some iron shavings into the air, speak your incantation, and point towards her. You can see the magic kind of wrapping itself around her, but she shrugs it off with a shriek and a hiss,
Nope.
and
There's that.
she is fine.
Nice try.
I think that's
Anything
about
else?
all I got. No.
Okay. That is Grodor's turn. That takes us to Marduk at 17.
Marduk will move deeper into the path to the east, following the roadway, coming up to the guard who was with us.
Next to the friendly guard, who is next to one who seems to be under the control
Correct.
of the Harpy.
Is she hiding behind the rocks, or do I have a line of sight with her? The brood mother.
She's not hiding. She's just on top of the rocks. You have a line of sight.
Then I will fire a firebolt at her. And
Whoa.
I scored a critical hit with or natural 20 with a
Nice.
firebolt spell.
So yes, the fire absolutely erupts from your hand, arcs through the air, cuts right through the wind, and strikes her squarely right in the stomach.
So it's a total of 14 fire damage.
The fire erupts. You see feathers go up in flame and just burn down to the will, if you
Mike,
Yes.
are you remembering Marduk's orcish crit ability?
That's only with a melee weapon for a
Okay.
savage.
Just checking.
Yep, thank you. I was going to take my action surge, which allows me to take one additional action, and then I was going to take my spear and attack the under the influence guard that is in front of the friendly guard.
will. Okay, go ahead and do that.
And I rolled a 19
That is a hit.
for a total of 11 piercing damage.
Okay. He is staggered by that blow, absolutely bringing him to one knee. He cries out in pain, is very wounded, but he is not unconscious or dead at this point. He still gathers himself up, stands back up, and readies his weapon. But it was a telling blow for him. That was a lot of damage for a soul guard. Go ahead, Alder.
Okay, I am moving 30, and that ends up with me being next to Marduk, but slightly behind. I still have my crossbow out, and I shoot the Harpy.
Holy shit.
I also rolled a natural 20
Alive.
for a total of 25, which I'm assuming hits.
Yes, that's a hit. A critical is a hit no matter what, just for
Yes, sir.
those rule keepers out there.
So I rolled a 5, and then being critical the second, I managed to roll an 8, so it's a total of 13.
Nice. The crossbow bolt sinks itself into her left thigh, again going deep in, like to the hilt. and there's blood that just spurts out like crazy. And she howls again and reaches towards that. She has these two projectiles sticking out of her body on opposite sides, one above her right breast and the other on her left thigh. And she is singed, and she looks like she's taken a lot of damage that she has. But she also looks pissed, and she looks angry, and she looks like she's going to do some damage when she gets a chance, is how she looks right now. She's definitely wounded. She's definitely bleeding from multiple places and smoldering from the fire damage, but she's still quite alive and quite angry.
And I am still yelling as loud as possible using thaumaturgy. That spell lasts for 10 turns. When it's her turn, that'll be the second turn that it's been going on.
Very well done. Okay. Gabrielle, you're up next.
Readied actions aren't allowed to go around the total order, correct?
When you ready an action, you go when that action occurs, and then your initiative
Becomes that.
stays the same. No, it doesn't become that.
Oh.
It stays the same.
Okay.
So if on 11 you said, I am going to ready an action for when she moves again, you would not take your ready action, your reaction is what you'd be taking, and you wouldn't take that until she went on next turn at 21. Then
Yeah.
you would take your reaction, and then you wouldn't have a reaction for the rest of the round because you took it at the beginning of the round. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, if I had to guess, I'd say she probably got attention to the two frontliners.
Yeah, she's definitely paying attention to the fire starter and the next crossbow that went in hilt deep on her.
Okay, I can move just 20 feet down off the rocks and sprint into right the middle of them. End up right behind their backs. They're still completely unaware. I'm having a great time being an invisible woman.
You are directly behind Marduk and Alder with the way
Yeah, I make my way down into the middle of the road. There's a scrabble of gravel as she makes her way down off the rock, but it's not quite obvious where she's ended up. And
Excellent.
then she sets up in defensive positions, because I don't need her ready to make an opportunity attack. So I'll spend my reaction better than that.
You might know that the way she moved in to attack Mel and then moved back out, there was no opportunity attacks.
Ah.
Because she has the ability to fly and attack while she's in flying mode, she can rake, if you will, across someone and then return back without presenting opportunity attacks. You might want to rethink your rationale. I don't want to have you not be able to do something if you want to.
All right. If I scrambled my last 10 feet on top of those rocks and made a climbing check, could I ready an action to attack her when she begins to fly off? Which wouldn't be an opportunity attack, but would still be a readied action.
You would have to have enough movement points, and I don't know, because I think the act of climbing up would be potentially an action.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, then Gabrielle judges the many things she could do and decides the best thing is to sit here in a defensive position to help with the attack itself rather than knocking this bird out of the sky the way she wants to.
Which maybe she'll get that chance next turn,
We'll see.
if the Harpy stays for her attack. That takes us to Melody at 6.
I think Mel's
Well, you
seen
might have-
enough death of Soul's Guard for the minute, so she's not really going to tolerate this mind control nonsense in a rock slide situation when they're just making things worse.
Yeah.
So she's going to try to
Preamble.
finish off this brood mother. I have gone just behind Gabrielle to try to shoot over her shoulder at this brood mother. These people I'm next to are mind controlled soldiers.
The one that is directly to your east is the friendly soldier who came and got you.
Okay.
The other one more hex to the east, is a Soul Guard who is mind controlled in some way.
Why is this one different?
He is the captain of the guard.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I hope I won't have to fight him. I am going to try to release him. I think that it's not a total action to reload a light crossbow. It's mostly the heavy variety.
I believe light crossbow has the loading descriptor, which all that means is if you have multiple attacks in a turn, you could only attack once with a light crossbow because it needs to be loaded as part of your action for the turn.
Does it take my bonus action to reload it? Is a concern I
No.
have.
It's
Okay.
part of your action.
Then I am loading another shot and firing it off.
All right. Please do so.
I spend 3 magic points on this. This time Gabrielle hears the same prayer to a non-Amiran deity.
Tut tut.
And the bolt glows brightly and fires off.
All right.
A 9 is not great.
That's not great. It does not strike the harpy. It actually flies over her shoulder.
As a reaction, reroll a miss on the same ranged weapon attack. Can only attack the same target. So it bends around in midair, taking my reaction for the turn.
Doesn't ricochet off
and
the
comes no, it just slowly turns around and then comes at her back at the same speed.
Propelled by magic, yes.
And I roll again. This costs even more magic points, but
Use them to be gone.
it's a 15.
A 15 does hit.
I have rolled an 18 for damage.
Okay, so your magic darts did 18 damage to her, which is penetrating, and she's howling again, this time from the back. She reaches towards her back to try to claw at the damage to the magic force energy that just explodes into her back and almost propels her forward. She definitely is hurting, but she's still standing. And that is the end of Melody's turn. Soulguard attacks his compatriot. The captain moves forward to attack Marduk. So he moves through the pass, the thin area that is between the two rock slides from the north and south, and attacks with a long sword, while the other Soulguard straight attacks the man who is trying to wake him from his magical slumber. The other two that are up on the rock slide and are pulling rocks down continue to do so. They're making progress, opening up a larger and larger hole, trying to get through. And then the other Soulguard, who are further to the east and on the path, are stepping up onto the rocks. They're not concerning themselves with attacking you. They're concerning themselves with trying to get higher in the rocks and help out their brothers to dig out whatever is being dug out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do an attack for the Soulguard attacking the other Soulguard. That is a miss. So he misses his compatriot, and then his compatriot does not attack back. But then the captain of the guard attacks, which is a whole different animal. And he's attacking Marduk with his long sword.
My armor class is 17. Never mind.
He rolled a natural 20.
Oh, fuck.
He gets +5 to that, so it's a 25, which is, of course, a hit. The damage for that is 11 damage. And then because he is a captain of the guard, he gets a second attack. And he rolled a 2 this time. The first one finds a spot in your chainmail that it cuts through and just lacerates you quite effectively. The second time he attacks, it's only a 7, and he misses you entirely as you duck out of the way of the attack. And that takes us to the end of the Soulguard.
I actually wanted to mention, when that first hit came in that did 11 damage, I have an ability called Interception. Gabrielle can get her pole hammer in there and stop that hit from being quite as nasty. It's a die 10 plus proficiency. Just straight up minus damage, so. Wow, that's great. Take 3 less damage from 11 down to an 8 as Gabrielle's invisible hammer manages to stop the sword from sinking in exactly 1 inch. You're welcome.
I'll take it.
And that is not an attack
No, that is a
or a
reaction.
spell, so you are okay with your invisibility still.
Absolutely.
The Broodmother at 21 initiative flies off to the north and behind a very large set of trees and shrubs, concealing herself as best she can from the just deluge of damage that she took from you all. After she finds purchase either in the tree on a sturdy branch or behind it, you can't quite tell, she starts to sing. And it is a melody. Now, it should be stated that this beautiful melody is being drowned out as best it can be by Alder and his thaumaturgy effect as he increases the sound of his voice and goes through the various octaves trying to drown out the attack of the harpy. What I need for everyone to make a wisdom check against this luring song, but everyone gets advantage on their roll due to the fact that the sound is drowned out a bit by Alder's voice.
Gabrielle rolled a total of 10.
Grodor rolled a 21.
Alder rolled a 17.
Melody rolled a 20.
Marduk rolled an 11.
Those of you, Alder, Grodor, and Melody, that rolled higher were able to withstand the singing melody, no pun intended, of the Broodmother. Those of you who rolled a bit lower, Marduk and Gabrielle, are convinced your other fists of Amira are your enemies. You need to eradicate them in order to survive. That's the Broodmother's turn at 21. Now it's Grodor's turn at 20.
Yikes. I'm going to blast the cave that they're trying to open above it to try to loosen any loose debris above it and hinder whatever the hell they're trying to free.
Okay. Sounds like a great idea.
And to
Go
piss
ahead
off
and-
the mother.
Yes, the Broodmother. Go ahead and what are you choosing to use for your attack?
I'm going to hit it with an Eldritch Blast of energy.
Well, then it's going to be a critical hit. We know that. You're rolling more to hit a precise area than you are to hit rock with it. You know, you're going to be able to hit rock.
I rolled an 11. Plus 4 is 15.
Correct. So you were able to aim your blast very effectively. Can you roll for damage, please?
4 damage on the boulders above the cave they're trying to dig out.
Okay. With 4, you didn't do enough damage to dislodge any rocks or large chunks that would be advantageous to what you were trying to do. What you did do, though, is you went ahead and created a shower of dust and debris that rained down upon them and got in their eyes and got in their face, and they're coughing and hacking, and you've delayed them for at least a turn from their digging because of the fact that you were able to dislodge a lot of debris into their faces.
Cool.
That's Grodor at 20. Marduk, you're up at 17.
Okay, so because I'm charmed, I just want to be clear what my instructions are. That I am to treat them as enemies.
Yes, that's correct.
And do I know that Gabrielle is also affected?
You do not. There's no inner voice that tells you who else is affected or not.
So I just see every fist as the
Every fist is an enemy.
Okay.
Now, does he attack the fists first, or does he attack people who are attacking him first?
Hmm?
Like, does he attack the guards first, or the fists first? Because currently you have people beating on you, and we're not. So what would you see as the person you would want to attack first?
But it's a mass suggestion, and the suggestion is that fists are your enemies. So I could see it both ways. Why don't you just roll a 50-50 die and decide 1, 2, 3 is
How about
fists
this?
and-
How
go ahead.
about going counterclockwise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll roll a dice 6.
going from the northmost?
Yeah, starting with
Alder.
Alder and then doing counterclockwise to the captain.
Okay,
Okay.
but I would discount myself if only because I'm invisible.
Oh yeah, okay, then I'll go back to
In which case, go wail on Melody.
right. Okay, my first roll was a 6, so that would mean it would come back around to Alder or the captain if Gabrielle's invisible. So I will attack then the captain, and it's a 20
Okay, that's good. That strikes home.
for a total of 6 piercing. I will take a second wind to restore my hit points as a bonus action, where I get 1d10 plus my level. So I will take
Go ahead and roll that, please.
8 points of damage I have recovered.
Sounds great. You did strike the captain of the guard. He's outfitted a little more.
Sturdily.
Yeah, he's got splint mail that he's wearing as opposed to the leather that the guardsmen are wearing, the soul guard.
Right.
The soul guard captain takes the damage. You strike him, but it doesn't break his flesh or he's not bleeding or anything else. He looks like he could go into this fight a lot longer.
Alright. And I can't really move because if I move, I'm disengaging from somebody, which
Correct.
would probably be bad, so I'm going to hold my position.
Marduk, at the end of each of your turn, you get to re-roll and try to regain back your self-control.
Just a normal roll, not advantage, correct?
It's a wisdom saving throw. No advantage. It's willpower.
Wow.
All right, I rolled a 15.
A 15. What you needed to roll was a 15. So you are no longer enthralled to the Harpy.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that's Marduk at 17. Alder, you're at 17 with no clue if anyone else. You know you resisted it, and you don't know if others have.
Okay. I don't know anything. I assumed that my plan worked for all my friends, but I'm also being careful. And as a second level rogue, I have a cunning action in which I can disengage, so I do. I know that the Harpy flew north and then west, so I am going to move to the west as far as I can and slightly south to see if I can spot anything as far as the Harpy and then take a shot at it.
Okay. I would say, based on the fact that she is no longer on the edge like she was before, she was at the edge of that little plateau, that little area. She's now further back. This wall goes up 80 feet. You are 10 feet away from it. You see a bunch of rocks, maybe a square, 5 feet beyond the top of the ridge. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I was making sure I don't want to be overly difficult, but I don't think standing that close to the ledge, the sheer wall of the rocks, that you could see if she's further back, and she is further back.
Okay, I am just going to randomly shoot an arrow up there and pray to God I roll a natural 20. I assume I'm going to miss if it's anything but that.
You're firing blind, basically.
I'm totally flying. It's just like, there, flew there, maybe landed there, and I have to shoot an arc on it to land there, and I actually rolled a 21. However, it wasn't a natural 20. It was simply a 16 plus.
Yes.
So I missed.
The singing has still continued because it's still the same turn.
Absolutely.
So
I am actually, it doesn't cost an action to sing, so I have sung now 3 of the 10 turns that this thaumaturgy is going to last.
Okay, so that is the end of your turn, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Gabrielle?
I'm going to roll a die 4, 1, 2 for Marduk, 3, 4 for Melody.
Also, you're invisible, so don't you get a bonus to...
When he attacks, he'll be attacking with advantage, yes.
Yep.
This is going to be really nasty.
Not exactly how you thought you were going to use your invisibility, right?
Not at all, not at all. I plan to use it as a surprise for the bird, but here we go. There's the pole hammer. There's advantage. Oh, good. I finally fucking hit. Rolled a total of 22.
I believe that hits now, correct?
Oh, yes.
I don't know if I want to smite or anything. I don't know. How good are these orders?
It didn't say you have to smite. It said they're your enemies, and you need to...
Alright, well, I'm not down for killing randos anyway, so this isn't out of character for me to not hit as hard as I can. But I did hit as hard as I fucking can. I rolled a die 10, total of 10, so not as hard as I can. 7 plus 3.
Okay, 7 plus 3 is 10 damage.
So...
Melody, this comes out of nowhere. Go ahead, you can describe it if you want.
Yeah, an invisible sledgehammer lands on your chest, like right through your solid leather armor. Does not do much to stop it. 35-pound weight traveling as fast as it possibly can. Smacks you right in the ribs.
You definitely take the full brunt of that attack, Mel. Stagger backwards. I'm assuming you're still standing?
I was kneeling to take the shot, but this, that was a balance, so... I'm on my ass now.
Crunches down upon one of your shoulders since you were in a kneeling status. Does that take you to 0?
No, I am about halfway.
Okay.
And then color bleeds back into Gabrielle's figure from the point of impact and reveals her hammer and all, ready to take another swing as I roll to see whether or not I break free of this enchantment. Oh, I rolled with advantage by accident, but I still rolled a 20.
And so I will say, Melody, that when Gabrielle bled back into existence, you saw something in her eyes.
Like, fuck.
Yeah, that was not good. Something you'd never seen because you spent childhood with this girl and you did not see any kind of look like that ever upon her face. So you know she was influenced. And then
in just a moment, her face breaks.
Her eyes flicker and she looks down at you with
intense amounts of worry.
That takes us to Melody.
Need to think.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to stand up and grab her shoulder, try to shake her out of it.
Make sure she's back to normal.
I already broke the enchantment. All I needed to see was the pain in your face.
You'll be seeing that for a while.
I'm imagining, snap out of it. And they're like, I'm already snapped.
I snapped immediately.
Forget me,
Snap
kill the
again,
bird.
damn it.
And then I look around for the lady who did this, but I can't see her.
You still hear her voice very far away because of Alder's noise that he's making with his voice, but you know she's somewhere to the north behind those trees and bushes, but you cannot see her at this distance.
Okay. I'm not confident in my acrobatics ability to climb up here, but I'm going to give it a shot. So I'm going to vanish from sight, become invisible. I spend 3 magic points to this ability. Shouldn't be a roll.
How many total magic points do you have, by the way?
14. I am running low.
Just wonder, yeah.
Bonus action, cloak yourself from sight. You and 1 additional creature per additional side point. I can't afford more. 3 is my maximum expenditure. But these are magic points. These are god points. So I vanish from sight and start clambering up these rocks.
These rocks, meaning?
The landslide to the north that climbs up the cliff where she's hiding behind a tree. The
Yes.
broodmother.
You can tell from looking at it that the deeper the rock slide, the easier it's going to be to climb, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's more gradual of a slope than...
Exactly. So
this is my shot after I've calculated how far I can move. Do you think that this is enough tree?
Did you do double movement for each of the rocks?
Suppose I didn't know. So I can only have moved, I guess, 1 of those?
Right.
It'd be 30 feet.
Right, so it'd be 10 feet for each square.
Does rolling acrobatics allow me, at risk of failure, to make this not as difficult?
Sure. Acrobatics, if you make a DC 15 acrobatics check, you can take it as normal terrain.
Okay, I might need that to take the shot, so I'm going to give it a go. I don't know how many more of my friends have turned, and I think this is her before I die kind of move, so I want to make sure that we don't kill each other, as I almost died. Acrobatics, here we go. That is a 19.
So you can clamber up with normal movement.
Okay. From that position, I am able to, I hope, see through the tree enough to make the shot.
That's going to be difficult. So go ahead and make your perception check at this point, and you need to beat a 15 on your perception check as well, because you don't know exactly where she's at. She could be in the tree, she could be above the tree, she could be behind the tree, she could be the
It's
side of the
true,
tree.
yeah. I'll try it. Damn it. I've rolled a 13.
You have.
I'm still taking a shot, though.
Okay, you're taking a blind shot sight, which is with disadvantage.
A 9 and a 6. Okay. The rebound doesn't hit her either. Both of these shots go wide. And thunks into the tree, I imagine.
Yeah. And that takes us to the Soul Guard themselves. The Soul Guard that is your friend is disengaging. He's backing away, saying, "What are you doing? Stop attacking me. Wake up. Snap out of it." Trying his best to get his friend to wake up. So therefore, his friend is left with being engaged with Marduk. So he's going to attack Marduk.
At firing my weapon, I do appear on the rocks, cursing, most likely.
Yeah, and that's a good point. So thank you for bringing up that you're now visible again. The Soul Guard attacked with an 11 Marduk. That does not hit, right?
No,
that just
my
clings
armor
off your armor.
17. Yep.
Right, that clings off your armor. The captain of the guard attacks. He rolls a 19, which he then gets what was his damage? 1 die, 8 plus 3, which is a 4 plus 3 is 7 damage. Gabrielle, you don't have a reaction anymore? So.
Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, just subtract 4 of that damage. It's slightly better.
I'll take it.
Gabrielle's trying real hard, man.
And then he attacks again. This time rolling a paltry 9 plus 5 is 14, which I know does not hit. So it clangs off your chainmail in an ineffective attack. The 2 Soul Guard that are near the opening are spending a turn to clear their eyes from the debris that had fallen down upon them from Brodor. And then there are 2 more Soul Guard that are climbing up, so they're not worrying to attack right at this moment. They scamper up the rest of the rock slide, make it about 20 feet higher, as they made their way above and are very close to their soldier-in-arms friends who are digging out this hole, or clearing their eyes, but trying to dig out this cave. And what the Rude Mother will do at the start of our next round is where we'll leave it off. She's heavily wounded. She has a few tricks up her sleeve, so we'll see what she pulls out for our adventuring group. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight with this podcast. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll get to the cliffhanger of the battle hopefully next week and see how this turns out. And I want to thank everyone for participating tonight as well. And everyone did a great job throwing some different stuff at me. I thought Grodor had a really good point of trying to cause a cave-in. I thought Alder had a really good point of trying to drown out the Harpy's voice through the thaumaturgy. And I thought that a couple of you, Marduk, in Melody too, really, did some serious damage on their attacks. That's a tough beast.
You want to give out some inspiration to the people
wounded.
who had good ideas?
No, he apparently doesn't.
Grodor and Alder.
I think I will give it not for the damage, but for
Yeah, the good ideas.
the good ideas. Alder and Grodor get inspiration. And you know what? I will give it for Marduk. You did roll a critical, and we're attacking the big bad, invoking Amira. So I think that's deserving of inspiration.
I could agree that he deserves it for doing what he does, is being the beacon to draw the attention as much as he can.
I also like how the second Alder got a whiff of danger, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to back up."
I am.
You guys are
so gone.
You guys are fine over there.
Hey, I'm a cleric. I gotta heal people. I can't be hurt myself. I'm gonna give you
I was
over
about to
here
run up
now.
to you guys, and it's like, oh, she starts to sing. I'll stay back over here.
I just thought. And
I'm literally standing in a group of 4 of you, and I have no idea who's being controlled.
No,
Later.
I liked it. I thought it was funny, and I also like that you used the specific power to disengage without triggering an attack. And I'm like, because there's an invisible bitch with a polearm that's going
right next to me that would have hit me so hard. Yep, bye-bye.
Everyone's day.
So, goodbye now.
She was useless when she was trying to help you, but now that she's hurting everyone, she's going to roll 10s out the wazoo.
Yeah.
A point of clarification as we're wrapping up here. And this is just for listeners who might want to look at the rules and see how things are different. The Harpy did a mass suggestion when she convinced the soldiers to dig out whatever they are digging out. That does not allow for a saving throw at the end of each turn to break from the spell. It's a major power of hers, and she has one shot at it to use it. So she used it on the soldiers earlier. She used suggestion the second time when you guys arrived, which allows for a saving throw at the end of each turn to try to break free from the control. So that was the rationale behind why the guardsmen didn't break all these turns later. They're still doing her bidding. There's a reason for it if listeners are wondering what that reason was. Or if you guys were wondering what the reason was. Okay.
All right, thanks everyone for listening. Good night. Thank you for listening to Knights of the Night Actual Play Podcast. If you'd like to send us a question, comment, or feedback, you can reach us in a number of ways, including Twitter at KOTN_podcast or by emailing us at feedback@KOTNpodcast.com. And don't forget the iTunes reviews. We also have a Facebook page which can be found at facebook.com/KOTN.podcast. While on Facebook, you can join like-minded folks at our fan page at facebook.com/groups/KOTN-fan. And lastly, there's our blog at KOTNpodcast.com, where there's an Amazon link on the right-hand side. For those of you who'd like a more steady way to help us pay the bills, or if you live outside the U.S., you can help by donating to our Patreon page at patreon.com/KOTN. And please remember to join us next week for more mystery and adventure.
Who might be muted.
Is muted.
And Vengeance in her eyes.
John?
Yes.
You said you did 7 and 10?
I did. I rolled 2 dice. I got a 7 and a 10.
But that was the spell, wasn't it?
Yes.
Doesn't the crossbow itself do damage?
Not with the spell, no.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I mean, that's...
Might be something to look up real quick just to make sure.
Yeah, I'm going to say no for now and do my research.
Okay.
Okay. 17's pretty, yeah, I mean, there's
I don't
blood
need more
spurting
to
out of
add
the
to
wound.
this.
It's- yeah, it's really
Well,
impressive.
the only reason I was wondering is if your spell created the arrow, that makes sense.
Right.
If the spell boosts the arrow, well, then the arrow still does damage, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I'm just curious.
Okay. Prestidigitation
Thaumaturgy.
affects, I'm sorry, his
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Captain's not a fist.
But he's attacking him, so he's an enemy.
Yeah, I think I'm okay in this particular instance because of the fact that he is being attacked, and suggestion is not. It's a compulsion, but it's not. You wouldn't act in your own
Right now I see
against
everybody.
your own self-interest
Right.
to hurt yourself. So if you ignore someone who's attacking you to attack someone who's not, I can see that.
Right now I consider everybody I'm aware of right now as an enemy, except for the Harpy.
Right.
Okay. Might help if I take myself off mute.
And if someone wants to double check me on that, they certainly can, but I'm fairly certain that blind sight is disadvantage attack. You're basically firing as if you're blinded because you can't see her. You don't know where she's at. So it's the same thing as being blinded.
The other possible titles that were available for voting on our Facebook fan page for this episode were Sudden Magic Sniper. I'm not down to killing randos. Scrabble of Gravel. A quick dash of eyelashes into the wind. We're not the only ones rolling low. And Tut Tut.